let's just start off covering what is the Continental Grip. So in tennis, you'll have a forehand grip for topspin. You'll have a Continental Grip for, we'll list all the shots. It's just amazing, for many, many shots. And then if you're a more advanced player, you may nudge it towards a backhand grip for a topspin backhand on the one-handed side. But most players will use the Continental Grip for serving and volleying, but it's also used for a lot of other shots. So let's just cover them and why. I'm going to give the whole picture, then we'll talk about the benefits on the serve and on the volley. Okay, similar to the serve is the overhead. So that's another shot you'll want the Continental. All chips, all returns of hard hit shots because you don't have time for grip changes, all volleys, all drop shots, all overheads, I think we said that, defensive lobs. You can play a whole match with a Continental Grip. You can't play a whole match well with any other grip. So that's for tennis. And the primary things that we're using it for, and I want to explain it, is A, the serve in tennis. And then obviously the serve ties in with the overhead because it's the same motion. And then second of all, on the volley. So let's get through this a little bit. This molded handle, the big question is, who's it for? You know, it's a shorter tennis racket, all this. And I would say 100% of all juniors, unless they were born with, you know, humongous Michael Jordan hands. It'll be for probably, Kalina, you can correct me, maybe 80% of all women, because they have smaller hands, and it may be that their pinky's a little bit off the bottom, and maybe 25% of all men, because men tend to have larger hands. But the point is that even in a modified grip where you drop, like for my hand, I'm 6'2" and I have fairly large hands. I can get used to the Continental Grip by putting 4 fingers on and just dropping the pinky off, which also helps us be more relaxed and have more wrist flexion. Now with this paddle, or this racket rather, what I'm going to do, whether it's a regular tennis racket or this, same thing. If you're serving, you know, we've all seen people do that patty cake. It's like they're serving pizza or holding a tray, like a waiter's tray. And then they go like this. And the challenge, you can patty cake it in, and it's kind of easier to start that way. And you see it all over the world. There's no, bar none. The problem with this, it is self-limiting. So the question is, do you want to end up at, you know, an intermediate, weak intermediate player on a worldwide scale, or do you want to have the potential to grow past that level? And to grow past that level, a Continental Grip is really necessary. I think it takes a little more work, and this is why we created this. It was a large investment in a mold, and we can explain why. So instead of this patty cake serve, watch my wrist. Look, I'm flexed backwards, I'm relaxed. And then when I go here, so the turn, I can't bend more because my wrist would literally break. So this range of motion, here's 90 degrees from horizontal to vertical, and then another 45 is 135 degrees. Okay, so that's the amount of swing, right, that you can get out of your wrist. Obviously, you've got a back swing and you can swing further, but the wrist is the fastest joint in the body, and that wrist action on the serve and the overhead is what gives power. And power is not just in a vacuum. Faster racket swings can also create more spin, which adds control to that power. So now we're going to shift over to the Continental Grip with this. And we'll see that it starts 45 degrees below horizontal, and it goes up. So that's 45 degrees. Then it goes up to vertical. That's another 90. Then it goes past, right? So actually, we've got 180 plus another 90. We've got 270 degrees of rotation compared to 135 degrees if we serve pizza and hit the tennis ball with what's called a frying pan or Western type of grip. So that range of motion, right, gives us so much more opportunity for velocity coming into the shot, into contact, right? You're only going 45 degrees, very small. But here, you're going in with a Continental Grip, you're going in from 135 degrees. So any way you look at it, you're expanding pre-contact from 45 degrees to 135, and then you're expanding post-contact from 45 degrees to also 135. It's huge, huge. There's no question. You don't see anyone on the professional tour. You don't see, hardly, I can't imagine anyone serving like this in a decent college or even a decent high school. Certainly you'll see it.